Hey y'all, good Monday evening to you from Nacogdoches, Texas. I'm out here, if you got a minute, we'll do a little walk and talk. I'll try to do a roll call at the end. You can sound off where you're from, and if I don't get you live, we'll come back and do it this evening or in the morning over coffee. We'll visit a little bit. I'm out here watching old Bart. He's looking for this. Poor thing can't see. Well, little shadows. He can't hear. But he sure can find this ball. I know that. Come here, Bart. Oh, he smelled it, went by. Oh, it got me to thinking of an old story. Something I've heard before, and I'm sure you have too, about balls of all things. In this situation, talking about an old baseball. Y'all hang with me a minute. I'll bring it home for you. But I think you can pick one of them things up for about $3 down at the big box store. If old Nolan Ryan had it in his hand, y'all know where I'm going, right? It'd be worth about $5-10 million, wouldn't it? Old basketball, football, you get what, about $12-15? If Aaron Rodgers was tossing that old pigskin around, they might pay him as much as $15-20 million. Of course, the legend Michael Jordan takes a $20 basketball and turns it into $30 million. Depends on who's holding it and the training and the power behind it, right? See this old stick here? It ain't much for nothing but maybe beating a chicken back or an old goat. I guess if I seen one of them little old slithering things, I could keep him off my boots. Just an old stick. Heard tell there was a time when Moses had a staff, a stick if you would, raised it up and parted a whole sea. They went across on dry land. He used that same staff to smite a rock, they say. Got sweet water out of it. All in the power of the training and the blessing in the hand. Pick up a few little old rocks and toss them about as far as that truck there. About all I've got left in me. I'd be lucky to hit anything if I was aiming for it. Old David put some in a sling one day and took down old Goliath, didn't he? The worth of what's in your hands. I'm studying on that. I don't think we all know what's in our hands. I saw a little video the other evening come across, and it was of a pawn shop, not one of the famous ones that some of y'all watch reality, but I guess they're kind of up and coming. But the title caught my attention, kind of gave it away, but I went ahead and watched it. Showed an older lady, well-dressed, well put together, came into the pawn shop and had a few pieces of old gold jewelry. I guess it was about a month ago. And she was after a little cash to be able to buy her granddaughter a new laptop for college. $400 would have done the job. Well, the pawnbroker, nice man, honest guy, seemed to be, started weighing up the gold. His eyes got big as he kept weighing it. He told the lady, he said, well, I think you're going to have enough for a laptop. No trouble. She said, well, good. I just had this old scrap laying around. Didn't even know I had it. He said, how much you need? She said, well, $400. I hope to get $400. I've got a few more if I need to. He said, no, you should be okay. It's a little more than that. She said, really? What, $600? He said, no, a little more than that. She said, $800, $1,000? He said, no, ma'am. Tell me your wildest dreams, how much you think this little bit of gold here on the scale is worth. She said, oh, my goodness, $1,500, maybe? He said, no, ma'am. What you have here, based on today's prices, what I can pay you is $10,000. Lady was elated and started digging in her purse for some more. But I thought about that in relation to whose hands it's in and the treasure that we have. That's how I see the gospel, the good news. It's gold deep inside of us. So oftentimes we don't realize the power and the hope that it can bring. 2 Corinthians says, because of the hope we speak boldly. Not brash, but boldly. There's a difference between being brash and bold. I've been thinking about that as I look at some Facebook bravado over the last week or so, in the wake of unexpected losses and tragedies and good men gone. I notice people get brash and challenge folks to unfollow them, or they don't want to be friends anymore, or whatever it might be, filled with hate in reciprocal fashion of the hate they're disputing, not realizing that Christ held the gold. He did it in love. The very thing they're talking about would have argued the same point. Why do we do that? Why do we alienate the very ones that may need a little bit of that golden hope with bravado? At the end of the day, just words. Polarization. Each path that someone has to walk. That's how it is. These old Tabasco peppers will teach you that lesson pretty easy. I love this pepper plant. We've got 3 of them left. Of all the things in the garden, they were the most prolific. There's an island in Louisiana, some of you that are familiar with the Tabasco McElhaney brand of pepper sauce will know this. It's a 2,000-acre island, I believe. They only farm about 20 acres of it, or a little less, because these little old pepper plants show out. One plant will produce about 600 or 800 peppers over its growth pattern in one season. I believe it, because we've had to harvest them all by hand, and Tammy's getting a little tired of these Tabasco peppers. The last round we ground up and dehydrated, but we've got about 8 or 10 nice vinegar Tabasco pepper sauces for them good old collard greens, mustard greens, peas. Can't beat that, can you? But the thing about these plants, something that intrigued me, I've known about that company, and I looked into it a little bit, and they've been around 150 years. A lot of y'all know about them. They produce a lot there, but they also contract out overseas. They produce 10 million pounds of peppers every year for their commercial needs. That equivalates out to roughly 6 billion Tabasco peppers. Now, y'all look at these little things. They're beautiful, all different colors, shades. But one thing that's stopped them from just mass production on an even grander scale is the fact that there's no automated way to pick them. There's no easy way to harvest the fruit that's ready. They start off, the actual laborers that pick these peppers do it one by one by hand. But it's a little bit deeper than that. They actually have a color slide with them that they compare the pepper color to, as it needs to be a certain red for the premium product that they're well known for. A machine can't do that. It's like a scalpel. Well, we're back. Lovely signal. Hopefully this will hold this time. But they have to almost use a scalpel to harvest those peppers that have developed to just the right color to make that legendary sauce of 150 years. Isn't that how we are in our witness? You can't take a bulldozer and plow through a harvest field ready to pick. The Bible talks about the fields are white with harvest, and I know that's talking about grain, but so oftentimes in the human condition, you can't just bulldoze over someone that's been hurt and doesn't know Christ, right? There are different stages of harvest. Some may be just a little green and not ready to hear that. Maybe they're orange, but when they get to that certain ripeness, that color red, they're able to pluck them from the vine in a fashion that gives them hope and a purpose for a future with the gospel. Wish we'd think about that from time to time before we rail off on a bravado post, no matter the intent. You never know who's watching. do we? Well, them goats know I'm watching them. And sometimes we just need a little confidence on things. That boldness that Paul talks about in Ephesians, where he asks the congregants to pray for wisdom and boldness and a surety as he shares the mysteries of the gospel. Thought about that confidence. It's told a man lived in a remote area of Alaska. He did okay. He was a homesteader of sorts. Town was several miles away. But he and his wife lived there happily and made their own way. Well, one winter, his wife got deathly ill, and he needed to go to town to get just a little bit of medicine to make it through the sickness. He struck out in the middle of the night, pitch black, no moon. He was a little nervous as it was early in the winter and didn't feel like the lake had set up good, deep enough to walk across. But he knew he must cross it to get to the life-giving medicine for his wife that lay on the other side. He began to gingerly crawl, belly crawl across the lake, nervous that every groan of the eyes to certain death. He was about halfway across the lake when he heard a rumbling. Fear struck his heart as he just knew the ice was cracking and he was going to surely drown in the icy water. As he lay there, he noticed, no, that wasn't it at all. All of a sudden, within 30, 50 yards of where he lay, a cavalry of horses come across. 4 horses pulling a wagon, full speed like Clydesdales across that frozen lake. He couldn't believe it. It gave him confidence to know that if they can make it across, well, I can too. So he leapt to his feet, ran across the lake with no problem, retrieved the medicine, and made it home safe and sound. Sometimes we need a little confidence. Maybe it's just in love. Maybe in a private message or a phone call to uplift a fellow brother and encourage him along the way. Right? Bart, did you ever find that ball? No? Oh, well. Beautiful sunset this evening. Beautiful for sure. And Bart's on a mission. He'll find that ball at some point. Oh, he did. It's up here in the yard. Well, let me see if this signal will hold quick enough to do a fast roll call. I haven't been able to really execute one of those here in a while. I'll set it up here and see what we can come up with. Hope y'all have had a good week. I noticed we've got, going to have a good week. Here we are at the beginning of it. I'm confused, aren't I? I noticed today, there's a lot of y'all out there. I believe it's 68,000 light bearers on the page now. How about that? That's pretty good stuff. Everybody doing their part to light their candle in their own part of the world. I think that's what we're called to do. Well, let me scroll back up through here and see who all's on, and we'll call them an evening. Let's see. Lots of folks watching. I'll comment if you... There we go. Marty Westerland. Thank you for your walk and talks there. What I need. It's been a hard 11 months. Lost both my grandparents in October and March, 5 months of each other. It's been hard grieving, processing and being in it all. I felt lost, empty, confused, and off the path lately, which is hard at times. Your wisdom and scripture is what I need to hear. Well, grief's a rough one. Heart goes out to you. Just you got to lean into your faith. I know too well about that grieving. Prayers are with you, brother. Thanks for sounding that off. That'll inspire someone else to keep doing the same. Thank you. Who else we got on here? I'll sound off where you're at and we'll give you a shout out. It seems to be working pretty good tonight. There we go. Debbie. Hey, one of our subscribers. Good to see you, ma'am. Be the light. Appreciate your words. Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate your support. Miss Susie Gilmer. Always good to see you sounding off with your wise words in North Carolina. And looks like that's everybody that's going to sound off their location. That's all right. I'll be going through these afterward, and feel free to share your thoughts and share your location, and we'll give you a good old East Texas howdy. How about that? Well, Bart's got his ball. The sun's about set, and I'm going to go get me a glass of tea and start easing in there for the night. Oh, I got to put the goats up, don't I? Oh, yeah. I forgot that. Can't be that easy, can it? Old Ruby's doing good. As promised, she's still behind Lock and Key for now. Yeah, we don't want to lose another one. Definitely not on the heels of Sissy's passing, for sure. We've got some loofahs planted. I guess I can show you all that as we're walking out here, instead of me just rambling. Tammy wanted some loofahs. We're going to see what happens with those. But they're doing quite well. I've got, well, this one's getting through the chicken wire. That'll be goat dinner if I'm not careful. I'm going to have to put a little temporary fence up here because those goats will probably enjoy them. But I think we got time for them to sprout on over and maybe get some before our first frost in November, late November, usually when it hits here. I'm praying that we get some tomatoes. They're setting, yeah, tomatoes. I've got tomatoes planted again. And they're starting to bloom, so we should. I did right by putting basil in between them this time. That's a good companion plant. A little butternut squash. I hadn't eaten much of that, but Tammy's got some recipes she wants to make, so that's what we do. Sugar cane's surviving even after the goats have nipped it. That's little Dolly right there. She's a mess. She'll get up on that brick column out front and eat cat food if I'm not careful. But that's part of a farm, isn't it? They hadn't messed with those Tabasco peppers too much. I don't know if goats can taste spice, but it doesn't take, but they know I'm going to the feed room, y'all. There you go. That's the running of the bulls or goats or whatever. Y'all hungry? Huh? Let's see. Yep, it's time to go in. All right. All right, that's the cue for me to focus before I get run over. Y'all have a good week. Be the light and be bold.